Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you Jirachee's DPP Invitational matchup. This is a round 1 showdown between Conflict and Void. Quick disclaimer, at the time this match was played, Frost Last and Machamp were still legal in DPP OU, and Baton Pass was not unbanned yet. That being said though, let's jump right into this. Empo lead, Latias lead. Latias lets a T-Bolt rip on this Empoleon, but Conflict will be able to get rocks up and switches out to Gliscor here, assuming the Latias' likely choice, very common on lead. Swampert's brought out here, and Gliscor just opts to taunt. Suicune's brought out here, and Latias is pivoted back out, going to threaten a T-Bolt, so Conflict has to switch out here. Instead, Latias lets a Draco Meteor rip, and Jirachee will tank this just fine. Skarm's brought out on Voids, and we got a bit of a balanced, bulky offense from Void, potentially. And Conflict brings out the Magnet Zone, so he's going to be able to get the trap off, and the Skarmory will only be able to get 1 layer of spikes up, but this means that the Swampert will be able to get rocks up, for sure. Breloom is brought out on Conflict's end, so full team revealed for Conflict, and Leech Seed is shown, so this is a defensive Breloom with probably like Spore or Force Palm. Rotom is shown, put to sleep by Spore here. And Rotom here still asleep, no sleep talk from the looks of it. Knowing that he can't be Pursuit Punish. Empoleon's brought out here on a double, and Conflict's going to sacrifice the Empoleon. Jirachee's brought out here, so Void's a little bit favored going into this, but the Swampert will wall the Jirachee all day. Body slams here, tries to fish for a para, does not get it. Magnet Zone is roared out, so not ideal for Conflict here. And Conflict opts to just explode. That explosion doing relatively pitiful damage to the Swampert. Suicune is brought out here, and the Swampert will go down. Latias brought out again, and that Draco Meteor, specs it was, and the Suicune goes down. Rotom is brought out here, probably going to sit on this Jirachee relatively comfortable. And Conflict in game chat saying that the roll was in his favor, to live at least, but Void's Rotom, the Hidden Power Ices, Leech Seed, unfortunate miss there. And Breloom's going to protect here. Can't really stay in, but Jirachee will be able to enter the game, as Jirachee is really the only thing that can take a HP Ice from the Scarf Rotom, presumably. Bit of a awkward, like, balanced team from Conflict. Not really a team you see often, but like Gliss plus Zone is not unheard of. This Breloom eats up the trick, mostly because Conflict realizes that the Breloom doesn't offer significant value at this stage in the game. Draco Meteor is ripped from Void, and Rotom is brought out. For what it's worth though, in Gen 4, as for those maybe coming in from SV or from a later gen, all the Rotom appliances are the same type, and Void brings out the Lucario here, so the Lucario could be Scarf Lucario from the looks of it, or SD, but look at Void's team. I would believe that Life Orb seems plausible. Yep, there's the Life Orb chip, but the Gliscor will check it pretty handily. Rotom has free entry here, and Conflict knows this, and Ice Fangs gets decent value. Breloom is sacrificed here, so it's really up to Jirachee and the Gliscor to try to hold out and win this 4-on-2. Lucario is going to get parried by Body Slam, and Jirachee protects here. Just remember that the Lucario can't be flinched at all, but the Gliscor will have no problem staying on it. But no! Void nails him with an Ice Punch here. Ice Punch is not the most common move, but it's common enough where you have to at least respect it, and Conflict just got burnt there on that turn. And close combat's going to do over 50%, and Void will take game 1 handily. We have game 2 here, folks. Azelf leads, Skarm leads, and Tyranitar is immediately brought out on Void's end, and Conflict showing what looks to be a choice band to Azelf, as that U-turn did 65%, and the Skarmory took really nothing, but Metagross here. Oh, Focus Sash is shown on Skarmory, so we now know that this is a Suicide Skarm, so maybe some kind of hyper offense on Void's end, and Void goes to guard trying to, like, you know, catch the EQ, but gets mashed in the face instead. So this is looking quite bad for Void already, and Conflict's off to a hot start in this game too. Ironheads here gets a flinch, but the meta with the mash raise is still a huge threat to Void's team. Skarm is brought out and sacked, so Void Skarm will at least be able to get layers up, and that looks to be a Mixgon from the looks of it. And it is. Mixgon is very common on these spike stack builds, to say the least. And Ice Punch here from what I assume is a CBA's elf. Heatran is brought out here. And Void looks like he brought some kind of mixed Jirachee. So T-Bolt plus Hidden Power Ground, and the Heatran's gonna go down immediately. Probably was Pashleberry from the looks of it, or Chopo even. Gengar is brought out here. And Latias is brought out as the Gengar answer, and Void wins the speed tie here and will take out the Gengar. Now the Gyarados is brought in. And that Draco Meteor does 32%. However, DD Gira looks to be a huge threat now. Tyranitar is brought in, but the Gira is at +2, so unless this Latias is Choice Scarf, which I highly doubt it based on the damage, Void is looking like he's in a bad spot. However, the Life Orb plus Sand Chip should be able to do it in. Azelf is brought out here. We don't know what Conflict's last is, but the Azelf's going to be taken out. The last is shown to be Breloom here. And Breloom's going to be able to at least get a sleep off on this Latias that is choice locked into Draco Meteor. And at least one turn of sleep will be guaranteed. Conflict Seed Bombs here. Superpower will be close to putting it in range. And no, Superpower is just going to do the job here, and Conflict survives a late game rally from Void to tie up the series at 1-1. Very nice game, very fast-paced game compared to game 1. You know, game 1 a little bit slower, but now we gotta move on. Game 3 here. Here we go. Zap lead, meta lead. Looks a little bit favored for Void here, as Conflict can't stay in here, has to be weary of a potential sub. Discharge is thrown out and the target's instantly paralyzed. Probably didn't care too much. And Machamp is brought out. Keep in mind, Machamp is legal. The Tar throws out Stealth Rocks. Machamp gets a substitute up here. Probably going to get a free Dynamic Punch off, but it may be Lum. We do not know for sure. Does 50%? No, it is not Lum from the looks of it. Lum meta was like semi-common sometimes because of Machamp and status, but Metagross hurts itself in Confusion, so Conflict's off to a rough start here. Tyranitar is brought back out again. And Discharge doing a mere 16%, but U-Turn's going to do a hefty amount here to the Tyranitar. And nice predict from Conflict here, predicting to Jirachee, and gets an EQ off, and Custap is shown. So Void is off to an early deficit, but the Starmie will take care of business here. And the Tar is taken out. Magnezone's brought out here, and Blissey is shown. So this is one of those old school Blissey Machamp balances that where Machamp thrives in a fair bit. Bit old school, but it's a very sound structure for its time. Zapdos is brought out here against this Metagross, and the meta immediately explodes. Starmie's brought out here against this Latias, and Void will be able to get the spin off. The Starmie's gonna go down to this Latias though, but Blissey will wall it all day every day. Bronzong's brought out here, and Conflict has a slight lead right now. And T-Wave's here, so either this... Oh, explodes on the Machamp here. Blissey's brought out here, but Breloom is shown to be the last for Conflict, and Void sacrifices his own Breloom to sleep, so this is not ideal for, you know, for Void, and Conflict should have this wrapped up. And that was a quick and dirty game 3 as well. And this Blissey going to get put to sleep. Void can't really do anything about it. And all Conflict has to do is just superpower again. And that is that. So, Conflict wins this series 2-1 here. That was quite the series, to say the least. You know, games 2 and 3 were very quick games, even though all things considered, both players actually brought fairly balanced teams in game 3. But that said though, if you guys enjoyed these videos, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.